All right, guys, now we're gonna get into the top 8 reasons that salespeople fail. Number 1 being self-sabotage. How many times have you guys seen somebody just absolutely ripping on the sales floor? Selling every single deal, doesn't matter who they get. They pick them up, they're enthusiastic, they're passionate, they're present, they're aware. You see this all the time. And you're like, geez, what are they doing? You know, what's their secret? Well, they're present, they're focused. They know what's going on, they have a goal, and no matter who they pick up, they know that they're gonna get a deal. And then you see other people on the other end. You know, they always got blame. They're always, they're not focused. They're complaining about every single client that they get, and they're just not in a good state. Maybe they got some personal stuff going on. Maybe it's that same person that just had a huge month. The next month, they absolutely sell nothing. What's the difference? Self-sabotage, it's our headspace. When we have an unbelievable, amazing headspace, a good routine, we got our goals, we're focused, everything in our household and our life is going in order, it's easier to be in that good headspace. And that's what we're teaching. You know, it's a balanced life. We got everything kind of running pretty smoothly. And then it's a little bit easier to have that passion and that conviction and actually be able to help these people, because that's our ultimate goal. Number 2, being a bad state. How was our morning? What's going on in our life? We got this girl at work and she always reminds me of what a bad state is. And all I got to do is say, well, you know, I know what not to do. She comes in, her hair's wet, her clothes are never ironed. She wears flip-flops instead of, you know, nice dress shoes. And she's always got a story. She loves those vape pens. She's sitting in the back, she vape pens and she constantly eats. She's overweight and she's just in a miserable state. I've got a lot of work that I gotta do and put in to be at a good state. And sometimes I'm not at that place. But I know I have tools and there's ways to actually change my state in an instant. Mostly I will put myself in a physically, I'll do push-ups. I'll change my state with my thoughts or the words that I use. I'll write out my daily goals. There's definitely ways to change our state, and we can change our state in an absolute instant. It is completely up to us how long we want to stay in that state for. And a lot of the times I'll think of things that I'm grateful for or things that absolutely make me laugh, bring me joy in my life, and I'll focus on those things. Because subconsciously, my body will start changing. When I focus on good, good things happen. When I focus on the bad, it increases, but more bad shit happens. And I wanted you guys to know this because when you're in a bad state, it's hard to get out of that, but it's really not. We just gotta learn how to do that. And we're gonna go over some of that stuff. But that's why number 2 is a bad state. Number 3, being no confidence in your product. I had an owner the other day, and I'm excited to tell this story because this lady came in and she's been an owner for the last 20 years here in Maui, right here on Kaanapali Beach. And she told me a story about her granddaughter. And her granddaughter had been to Hawaii. She's 7 years old and she's been to Hawaii 7 times. And I was thinking of my own stories. Like, I hadn't been to Hawaii until I was 24. And I moved here with 2 bags and I started selling timeshare. But it's so rad to see these things. And I asked her, would you have been here? Would you have taken your granddaughter 7 times to Maui without owning this product? She said, no way. There's no way that we would be able to afford this. There's no way we would be able to stay in these $800 a night rooms. It wouldn't have happened. And we reiterate that. And I try to exude that through my body with every single client because I know I have a product. I know I have a product that will literally change people's lives. I've never, ever had a client, ever in history, that's been traveling with timeshare for over 10 years, say, can I have my money back and take back all my memories? All these family time, all this quality time, watching the kids surf for the first time, doing Christmas or snowboarding or whatever it may be. All these precious memories. That's why people bust their ass. That's why they work so hard. And we have the privilege to deliver that. The only thing that gets in the way of that is us. But everybody deserves those experiences. And every single human being should have those memories and that feeling to be able to provide that for their family. And I gotta constantly remind myself, because when I started off in the industry, I didn't have these stories. I didn't have the experience. I didn't have years and years of hearing these amazing things. When you meet your clients, ask them what are the best trips that they've ever had. If it's with timeshare, awesome. Would you have done those trips if you didn't own this? If I gave you 10 dream vacations over the next 10 years, how many would you take? Now, how many would you take without owning this product? You know, that's confidence, because we know that every single one of them would take all 10 trips. And without owning it, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, you know, or none. People are gonna struggle, they're gonna have excuses, they're gonna have fears no matter what. But it's our responsibility to at least deliver it. And if we're not being of service. We're not helping other people. And I have absolute conviction in the product that I offer is gonna change their lives. So have confidence in your product. Find out these third-party stories. Look up every single company out there has unbelievable videos and you know, tutorials on different owners and their experiences. Watch some of those, read them. If you don't have them, make them up, you know, whatever it may be. But believe that your product will change people's lives. And if you don't have those stories, figure them out. But number 3 is confidence in your product. Make sure you have it and exude it out of you. Number 4 reason timeshare people fail is we believe their story. I've taken over 5,000 tours. Every single client has had a story. We want to know what that story is. I want to get that out absolutely right away, because the rest of my presentation, I can absolutely murder it. And then at the end, they can't tell me that again because I've already come over that objection. But we want to know that stuff right away. And a lot of the times what I've noticed with my personal sales is when they give me a story and I start to believe it, I'm gonna cut my my presentation a little short. If I start cutting my presentation short, I'm not being of service. I'm not giving them maybe that one little nugget that they need to purchase for their family, to have these quality trips. Everybody's always gonna have a story. Nobody ever walks into a presentation and wants to buy, right? I mean, in 5,000 tours, maybe I've had 2 clients walk in and say, hey, we're ready to upgrade. No matter what, we wanna keep doing our presentation. We wanna go through the entire thing. Don't believe their stories, because it's just a cover, it's a fear, because it's completely unnatural with what we do. When they walk in, they have to have that guard up. It's unhuman if you don't. It's our job to knock that down with kindness and actual love and genuine connection with them. But don't believe their story, go through your entire presentation. There's been time and time again for me that something did pop up after I went through my whole presentation where they did buy and I was surprised. But if I believed their story, that wouldn't have happened. And a lot of the times I have believed that story and it didn't result in a sale. Number 5 being we prejudge. How many times have you gotten a tour and said, oh no, not another one of these? I just had one of these last week. There's no way they're gonna buy. We haven't even seen our clients. We maybe get the profile before we even pick up our clients. I try not to do that. I'll go pick up my clients, have breakfast with them, you know, watch the whales, look at the ocean, and then go back to the table. I don't even know what they have until about 45 minutes or an hour into my presentation. Because if I start prejudging and knowing what they have and trying to figure out my angle, usually it's like I'll get into things before I have the right to. I'll start selling before I've built rapport, before I've built a genuine connection and a relationship. So I try not to do things like that. But prejudging just by the looking at these people, it's our opportunity every single day to build some bridges, right? Find something in common. If we don't have anything in common with these people, find out about them. Every single person absolutely loves talking about themselves. And just ask them, you know, where are you from? What do you like to do? If I were to go to that town, you know, what are you known for? Whatever it may be, but we want to build these rapports. And as soon as we start prejudging, it's a lack of confidence in ourselves. It's a fear. We're already counting them out. But overall, it's part of self-sabotage. We want to avoid all that. We get to number 6 and we don't give people the opportunity to buy big. We think we know what they can afford. This has cost me so much in my career. I can remember time and time again, and there's no worse feeling in the sales floor than seeing a tour that you sold 6 months ago and they're back. And your buddy Billy gets them. And Billy sells them a $160,000 package and you sold them a $28,000 package. And Billy goes, hey, thanks for leaving some meat on the bone. You know, this has happened to me a lot where I think that I know what they need. And I really don't, because I haven't found out like a discovery on what they want to do or ultimately what's their goal. I always get clients to say, are you like the average American? Do you want to travel 6 to 8 weeks a year once you're retired? And most people will say yes. And that is the opportunity that I can say eventually or down the line or ultimately when you get to this higher package, I'm going to put in a recommendation. Or I would recommend that you get there before you retire, because once you retire, you're going to be on a fixed income. So show big numbers. The reason that we do this too is to pull out those objections. If I show a client, every single tour, I show clients products that cost $300,000 to $700,000 here in Maui. And I didn't do that at the beginning of my career. I would be stoked on a $15,000 deal. I would be stoked on a $40,000 deal. But if we're not giving them the opportunity to purchase big, we're being a disservice. So if people have these points in their account, they're gonna use them. If they buy 2 extra weeks and they're only traveling 2 weeks and they buy 4, are they gonna use them? Probably. You're gonna force them to have better lives. You're gonna force them to have better memories, more quality trips with the family, and that's why we work so hard. We have the opportunity, and it's our job to give these people what they're busting their ass so hard for. And this is a way to do it where there's certainty. They know they're gonna go every single year. So show big packages, don't be afraid, and just realize that those objections will come out, so we don't have to deal with them on the smaller ones. We can always do the drop. Hey guys, number 7 is bringing drama on tour. Bring in your personal life or maybe something you're going through. You don't leave that when you pick up your clients. Every day I have a specific routine, and what I do before my day, before I go into the sales meeting, before I start work, about 1 hour before I pick up my clients, I put my phone on do not disturb. There's no reason I need it. And I know that if I let things 2 minutes, 5 minutes before I pick up my clients, if I set myself up for distractions, the opportunity's there. And once in a while it'll happen. Maybe that's that client that would have bought that $100,000 package. Maybe that client would have changed my month or made my momentum grow when I really needed it. We don't need those distractions. A little tip that I do is shut off your phone or put it on do not disturb. I need my phone while I'm with my clients. I use my calculator and things like that. But and I show pictures, I make it personal. But when we bring drama or we aren't at our peak state or we don't have our goals, it gets in the way. So leave that stuff at home. Make sure you're in a good place. You're in a good headspace. You're focused. You're determined. You know your outcome when you pick up these clients. And there's no need for that stuff when you're with your clients. Number 8 is no routine, no goals. I'm very excited about this one. We have full video tutorials on each one of these and what I do. Also what other people do, because there's ways to have routines that aren't involved with my routine. We're gonna go over a lot of different things. I'm gonna walk you guys through goal setting, daily, monthly, yearly, and we're gonna make sure that we hit these goals. But make sure that you do have a routine that is pulling you towards your goal, and make sure that you've written all this stuff out. That's number 8. That's the top 8 reasons that people fail in the industry. And I hope that you guys have learned something from this. I hope that you implement these things in your life, or at least recognize them when they do show up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's move on to the next one.